Good morning from Nugget Shooter Journals. Hot day in July, and they're out here on a roadrunner claim, me and Rick. And look at this pat rat Congo. I mean, this guy built something here. He's got poop in there, and he's got sticks, cactus, everything you don't want to touch. And over here, he's got a beer can in there even. Look at all the thorns around it. Woo! All the way down into the little wash that I'm puttering around in. Amazing critters. Using the gold monster today. Crumb chasing in these old piles and tailings piles in here. Look at cactus on me already. Ay. Good Lord. But that's why I don't get close to the pack right now. So I'm going to go down this little wash here. Maybe rake around a little bit over there and hope to get lucky. Usually get a piece or two if I hunt in here hard enough, but it's going to get hot pretty quick. So I'm not sure how long I'll last. But let's go get a nugget. Yeah, all right. We got something really small. It says non-ferrous. Just barely a chirp. Right in here. And moves a little dirt in it. Got a little louder. So, let's see what that little chirp's all about, shall we? All right, I'm going to say either lead or gold. I like these scoops. They really help you separate materials. You can run them slower and watch what's coming out easier. We got it in my hand. Oh, it sounds a little mushy. It's in my hand again. Huh. Really? How's that even possible? I think it's a little piece of screen right there. Maybe? No. Geez, my old eyes can't see good enough to see what this is. Okay, let's see what we got. I think Rick got stuck by a cholla. Okay, something in my hand is giving that signal, and there's nothing there. Still in my hand. What in the world? Okay, I'm gonna have to look real close here. No way. Might be that right there. Yep, okay. Let's see what it is. I have to get it wet. That's what's making that noise. That little piece on my finger. Huh. I don't know what it is. Little piece of trash, I do believe. Yeah, it looks like a little bitty piece of trash. Huh. Okay. Well, I found a little bit of shade I could borrow here. Dug a lot of targets and all of them junk. One of those days again, I guess. Like I said, though, we're close to home and these areas have been hit pretty hard. So you got to get lucky to snag one. I get a lot of questions, and I thought I'd share a little bit about why I use what detector I'm using. I've gone over this before, but there's a lot of new subscribers, and I'll go over it again. You see me with this one a lot. The Mind Lab Gold Monster 1000 with a little 5-inch coil. And the reason you see me with this little 5-inch coil a lot is because I hunt a lot of really shallow ground, shallow bedrock, and areas that I've been over before, and we've kind of plucked a lot of the bigger stuff out over the years. But pulse induction won't hear some of those real tiny nuggets that I find, and I find a lot of them, hundreds of them. And that machine covers that part of my arsenal very well. And it's a VLF machine, which means very low frequency. And it is a real whippersnapper. My lab came out with this thing, and it's got a 24-bit microprocessor in it. And it's an amazing little tool. And I have the 5-inch coil on it right now is because I'm hunting shallow ground and bedrock, and there's a lot of tight places that I got to poke the coil into. And that coil's a little touch more sensitive because of the size than the 10x5. The 10x5 is going to give you more ground coverage and a tad bit difference in depth. I mean, it's physics. You got one coil this big around, and the signal's a double D signal, so it's going down like this, and it's limited by the size of the coil. The 10x5 is a little bit bigger, again, double D coil, and it goes down a little bit more depth, not a lot with the VLF machines. Now, when I go hunt deeper ground, anything over 6-8 inches deep, I'm generally using pulse induction. And I also have a GPZ 7000, which is a zero voltage transmission. And that's another one of MineLab's newer technologies. And it's a really good machine. And it'll hear small gold and big gold at depth. So why don't I use it all the time? Well, it's heavy. And the smallest coil you can put on this machine is 14 inches. So if you're in an area with a lot of brush and stuff around, you'll be lucky to get that thing to the ground most of the time. So what good's the extra depth if you can't get the machine to the ground? In more open areas like Quartzsite or Yuma, places like that, I generally use that 7000 quite a bit of the time. I found some nice gold with it. And I also have a SDC 2300, which is a pulse induction machine, and it incorporates multi-period fast, which is one of MineLab's other newer technologies, and it's able to hear really small gold at really incredible depths. And also, being a pulse induction, you don't hear a lot of the hot rocks that you hear with a VLF, and that's a big difference between pulse induction and VLF. They don't hear near the hot rocks that we hear with the VLF. But all is not lost. A big part of learning to do this is to learn what hot rocks sound like and cold rocks. And they all have a different sound. Some of them will sound just like gold, but that's pretty rare. Most of them have a mushy sound or a raspy sound to them. And when you get in a new area, it doesn't take you long to get used to the rocks and which ones are hot and which ones aren't. And a lot of times you can tell by the sound after you play the guessing game enough times. And it's a pretty good chance you're over just a hot rock. And that can save you a lot of time and moving a lot of rocks. I generally just kick them out of the way because most of them are right on top. I mean, if you get a signal in the ground, you better dig it. I've dug nuggets that were right next to a hot rock or right under one. And the signal just sounded funny enough that I dug it. I also have a GP 3500. Now, this one's been modded by a fellow over in Australia named Woody. And it's got a front end gain and some other stuff it didn't have. Now, this is an analog machine, and it's not digital in any way. I really like that. It's just dials and buttons, and real quick and easy to use. I like that machine. And that's pretty much my arsenal other than my coin relic machine, which is a Equinox 800. And I've had a lot of machines, and yes, I'm a dealer, and I'm a multi-line dealer. I don't have to steer you to any detector other than when you ask me which is the best in your opinion. I tell you what's best in my opinion. And for gold hunting, hands down with me, it's MineLab. And there's a lot of good machines out there, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything's junk. But the better choice if you're looking for something with a lot of bang for the buck is MineLab. And they're constantly working to give us newer and better technology. And that to me is worth $1 million with any company. And I don't know, if you just change the color of the box or whatnot, you're not going to last very long with today's technology. I can't even imagine what's coming next. I mean, you watch some of the technologies that are coming out now. It just blows me away. It totally blows me away. But that's kind of a rundown on why I use what I use. So when I'm in shallow ground like this, and I'm looking for, we call it crumb chasing, and That's a nice term. I'll take those small nuggets all day long. You get a jar full of small nuggets, and it's still a jar full of nuggets, and an ounce of small nuggets weighs the same as an ounce of big nuggets. They just look different. And I'll tell you what, we call those bread and butter nuggets because I found a lot more of them in my 30 years of doing this than I have big nuggets, but I found a lot of those too. So I just had to take a little break here and have something cold to drink. And I'm going to hunt for a little while longer yet. And hopefully I'll get over a piece. You just never know though. It's getting hot already. Getting real hot already. So without further ado, my friends, I hope that helped a little bit. And I will add though, that when you switch coils on a VLF machine, you don't get near the difference in depth or sensitivity that you do when you change coils on a pulse induction machine. I mean, there's a huge difference between an 8-inch coil and a 16-inch coil on pulse induction. With the 8-inch coil, you got more sensitivity to smaller targets, of course, and set up properly, the machine will hear quite well small targets at depth. Because you put that big 16-inch coil on there, and you've got to change your settings to handle that big coil, and you're hunting deep. And therefore, you're going to miss some of the smaller stuff on the surface. Just the nature of the beast, and anybody can argue that wants to, but that's just how it works. Done enough testing over the years to know that. So, do you need to buy all the machines at one time? Oh, heck no. Start out with what you can afford, and if you really like what you're doing and you're finding some gold, you might want to consider upgrading. Or if you just want to start out with the best, then start out with the best. But it's when you're new at this, 90%, I won't say 90, 60% of this is you find gold due to the research you've done in the places you've put yourself into. And the other percent, I guess, is just luck. You get the right spot. I've walked over areas that didn't look good for gold at all and go home with a handful of it. So there's no figuring it. About the time you think you got it figured out, you don't. So anyway, I'm going to go hunt a little bit more. Hope this helped a little, and I'll see you in a minute. Well, that's it. I'm done. It's hot. Big reds up in the sky. Boy, temperature jumps quick. I'm guessing we're really close to 100 by now already, or somewhere in thereabouts. But no gold. It's one of them things. Don't get gold every time. Sure is nice though. Look at this view. Yeah. Gotta love the big AZ. I'm gonna go that away home. About 8 miles. Like I said, these areas have been hit pretty hard. So kind of come chasing around, and it's been a good day. If you like these videos and enjoy watching, learn a little bit here and there, and seeing some of the sights in Arizona and elsewhere that I go, like, subscribe, and ring that bell. For now, Nugget Shooter out.